Hello YouTube, D-Deckin here, and, wasn't Bunny Day last week? No, seriously. I had people asking for turkeys, I had some people asking for turkey breast, and I even had some people asking for corned hams. So, Bunny Day was definitely last week. Why are we having this now? Are we having this now to celebrate Golden Week in Japan? Cool, but Golden Week in Japan starts on the 29th. Today's the 9th. That's like 3 weeks from now. And Bunny Day was last week. Why are we having this now? I feel like I'm repeating myself. Like, last Pick a Gift should have been a week earlier to celebrate the anniversary of Duel Links. And this Pick a Gift should have been a week earlier to celebrate Bunny Day. Because, I understand, granted, not a lot of people, celebrate Bunny Day because it's more of a religious holiday, but nevertheless, when you get off of school from this, or work closes early for Bunny Day, or even then, it's that's still something to celebrate. Or even coming together as like a family, or even just having an excuse to celebrate something. That's a good thing to have, right? Cool. Yes. Why are we having this now? Is this supposed to go alongside the Casey Cup, which I get Casey Cup is going to be for a couple more days, and this is an event that lasted a couple days. Sure, cool. Cool, but why? It's don't get me wrong, why? Why are we having this now? I usually make a video talking about each Pick a Gift, and I'll probably link the previous one in the description, but why are we having this now? Any case, so yes, we have another Pick a Gift, and I'm going to be talking about it. Now, format-wise, it's the exact same as last Pick a Gift. I guess whoever's making the Pick a Gift really likes this format. 8 days, the gift placements are all the same. Kind of tiresome, but fine. Day 1 and Day 6. Day 1, 50 gems, 2,000 gate keys. Day 6, 30 gems, 2,000 gate keys. Why? Why? Fix that. No, fix that. At the very least, swap the result booster for those 2,000 gate keys. At least give that a fighting chance. Stop putting gate keys against gems. I understand the risk-reward factor of gate keys, but at the very least, balance it out. If you're gonna put 3,000 at 30 gems, 2,000 at 30 gems, then put 350 or 330 over in 50 gems. Or if you're gonna make 2,000 at 50 gems, then make I don't know, 1,000 gate keys at the bottom. Make it balanced. Don't do random crap like that. Or make this 2,500 and then make this 1,500. Do something that makes it balanced. Just, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse there, but any case. So in other words, like I said, nothing's really different other than the card days. And much like the last couple Pig Gifts, we seem to have recycled cards and we seem to have new cards, which, I like. That means new things to talk about every time. Cool. So let me briefly go over the recycled cards. So the first recycled card is Cyber Gymnast, a level 4 Earth Warrior, which has the effect of discarding a card out of your hand to pop an attack position monster your opponent controls. Which, even though it only has 800 attack, that's still pretty decent. That's a pretty decent effect. That's a more reliable snipe hunter, even though it has lower attack. Now, granted, you're probably going to either be popping a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you're going to be popping a big monster, and hopefully try to find a way to recover from there. But I guess if your deck revolves around getting cards in the graveyard, this is a great way to start setting things up. If you're a Blue Eyes player and you use this, well, guess what? If Karma Cut gets hit, you have a replacement right there. Which I don't want to think like that because, I'll give I don't like facing Blue Eyes because of Karma Cut, but I do appreciate many Blue Eyes players finding new ingenuitive ways to play Blue Eyes, expecting Karma Cut to get hit. More people I've seen more people play Whitestone to add Blue Eyes to their hand. I've seen people use Raigeki Break. I've seen Hollow Life Barrier. I don't like facing Blue Eyes, but nevertheless, I do like the fact that people are already preparing their decks around the fact of not having multiple copies of Karma Cut. That, or people don't have access to multiple copies of Karma Cut in general, but any case, we also have Xyz Ray Piercer. Now, Xyz Ray Piercer on the last Pick a Gift was lined up against gems, and needless to say, I went with gems, because, gems. So, Ray Piercer is a card that has to be paired with another Ray Piercer in order to actually make it useful. Other than that, it does a weak burn damage for being a 1,700 attack dragon. It's not really viable to play by itself, but it is a level 4 fire dragon. Nevertheless, there is probably going to be a special ticket in the future that will have a glossy or even prismatic copy of this card. So, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Otherwise, this is a good time right now to pick up one copy. Just to pick up one copy. You're only either you pick up either useless gold or a extra life, which I feel like extra life is like the weakest of them all, because you activate extra life and either you don't use it because you don't need it, or it saves you for a hot minute and then you lose anyway because your opponent attacks with a 2,000 attack point monster anyway, and it only saves you, it only gives you 2,000 attack points. So I don't really think most of the gems, most of the dual crystals aren't exactly worth it in general. Like, they're fun. They're fun and they're gimmicky, but that's it. They're not actually, like, any other option's probably better. Like, granted, I would probably pick an extra life over gold, but I would not pick a card itself over either of these two. So that's my personal take. Now, that said, let's talk about the new cards. And let's talk first about Paralyzing Potion. So, Paralyzing Potion, you could have easily gotten one copy of it from a level 33, when you level up Bandicoot to level 33, which, you know, cool, actually. That said, this card doesn't really do anything. Like, you equip it to a non-machine monster, and that non-machine monster can't attack. Okay. There is another equip card in the game called Master the Accused, Master the Restrict. I want to say Master the Restrict. It has the same exact effect, except there's no restriction on what you can equip it to, and it burns your opponent for 500 every turn. Now, granted, the idea behind this card is when your opponent summons a lot of monsters into their field to threaten a big push against you, you equip this to one of them and you hold off, and you survive a turn based off it. Like if you have, let's say, Blue Eyes Twin Burst, and Twin Burst can banish your monsters, you equip it to Twin Burst, like, and all of a sudden, like, he can't attack your monster twice. So you can set a monster, and then the other two Blue Eyes will attack one and attack the other, and hopefully you live? Question mark. Like, that's the idea of the card, but the problem is, like, either your opponent goes Blue Eye Spirit and just banishes it, or, you know, if they're playing Blue Eyes, they either sync up into their level 9, which causes this card to fall off, or, you know, they tribute their monster for another Blue Eyes, and it falls off anyway, so this card doesn't really do anything. Like, I like the card. This is a good chance, and again, it's a good chance to get a second copy, but it doesn't really do anything unless you're playing like against a rogue deck, and even then, Xyz and Synchro and even Tribute Summon, there are ways to like bounce around this card. It feels like a dead card. It feels like you're gonna waste resources playing this card. If you're gonna play a card that stops attack points, then why don't you play the card that does burn damage? Like, that makes more sense. Now, granted, the other viable deck right now is Thunder Dragon, and same difference. Like, no, literally, it's the same argument, but worse. Because a lot of the time, the rank 6 they go into is M7, and M7 is a machine. Right? Yeah, M7 is a machine, which means you can't equip this card to M7. And if you equip it to anything else, anything that isn't an Xyz monster, well, most Thunder Dragon players are running level augmentation, so they change their monster to either level 6 or 8, and then they overlay and it falls off anyway, so it doesn't do anything. Like, again, this is a good chance to get a second copy of it, but it doesn't do anything. I think level augmentation needs to get nerfed. Like, if you're running a Synchro era character, it should only let you Synchro summon for that turn. If you're running an Xyz era character, then you can run Xyz card. It can let you Xyz summon, but you can't Synchro summon. Like, I don't know. Like, level augmentation's too powerful. That's all I'm saying. And last, of course, Dawn ZALOOG. Now, Dawn ZALOOG is a really interesting card, because this is the first time it's being introduced into Duel Links, much like Xyz Piercer previously. And what it does is when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, and that's battle damage by any means, like attacking a monster, attacking directly, you activate one of two effects. Either you discard a random card from your opponent's hand, or you send the top two cards of their deck to the graveyard. Now, both of these effects are actually good and bad at the same time. So it's good for the sense of, if you discard a card out of their hand, you're giving your opponent less resources to work with. And in the case of Blue Eyes, the reason they can cycle through Alternative White is because they have that Blue Eyes in their hand. They reveal Alternative White, they reveal Blue Eyes, summon Alternative White, they sync Alternative White, use White Stone in the graveyard to bounce it back, and then reveal the Blue Eyes to summon it again, right? That's how the loop works. So if you were to, let's say, pop the Alternative White with, you know, Cyber Gymnast or whatever, and then you have Dawn ZALOOG on the field, well, you attack directly, and you have a chance to get that Blue Eyes out of their hand. Now, granted, of course, this card is susceptible to Karma Cut, it's susceptible to a bunch of things, but that interaction is right there. Then there's also milling the top two cards of your opponent's deck. Now, this can be both good and bad. Like, I guess mill players would really love this card, and combining it with, like, Mirror Wall or something, mirror wall or something to be able to punch over your opponent's cards, which, that's nice. Now, that said, unless you are playing a mill deck, that's very dangerous nowadays. Because if you're playing against Thunder Dragon, or any deck that has Chaos Levineer, and Chaos Levineer needs Light and Darks in the graveyard, that milling 2 cards is going to give your opponent resources in the graveyard to then work off into, like, Chaos Levineer, or even or Thunder Dragon Duo. It's risky. It's risky. Now, granted, if you're fighting a Thunder Dragon player and you manage to clear their board and they have like 6 cards left in their deck, milling 2 cards out of their deck, put them down to 4, and then that can give you a better advantage situation. How to put this? It can give you a more advantageous situation to win a deck out victory versus actually, like, reducing the life points to 0. Now, that said, it can also, there's also the chance that you can mill cards that your opponent might actually want to have in their hand, but not have in general. Like, you can mill off a Blue Eyes, you can mill off that Thunder Dragon Duo, which they'll have to resort to using a Roar to get it back, or there's a lot of plus minus. There's a lot of plus minus to using this card, but it is an interesting card, and it does do things. Now, granted, this card probably should have been in the game sooner, but we have it now. Now, granted, of course, it's being contested with gems, and, gems or gems. So, if they're keeping this up with the recycled cards from the last Pick a Gift and the new cards, well, then you can always wait to get 1 copy of it next time. But ideally, when running a deck that's going to use this card and take advantage of this effect, you probably want to have 2 copies of it. So, I'm still personally leaning towards gems, but again, the idea behind the Pick a Gift is for you to make your decision on what you think is good for you. Again, I like gems, but if you want the 2 copies of ZALOOG now, come 6 or 7 weeks from now when we get a new Pick a Gift, if you want those 2 or maybe even 3 copies, if you want the 2 or 3 copies, now's the time you go get it. But otherwise, you can just wait. If you wait, if you wait, you have a chance to get more copies. And last but not least, Day 8. Day 8 is the hardest day of them all. I don't know what I'm picking, but nevertheless, what do you think? Is this a good Pick a Gift? Bad Pick a Gift? Should this have been last week? Let me know in the comments. And on a personal note, I've been streaming a little bit over on Twitch. Granted, I've been mostly streaming Sid Meier's Civilization 6, but I am currently in the process of thinking... I'm currently thinking about maybe streaming Duel Links in the future. Not right away, but, maybe some, once or twice a week, maybe play some ranked duels. Maybe talk with people if anyone stopped by. That's what I'm currently thinking. I don't really get anyone stopping by in general, but who knows? That's something I'm thinking about. If that might be something you're interested in, let me know in the comments. And otherwise, hope you have a really good night.